Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Maccabee stream. Hey, Mike T. How you doing? Let me get my YouTube going. Actually, my volume off. Good deal. All right. I'm all set up, ready to rock. Oh, people, see where we're at. All right. There's 8 of us so far. Hope everybody is surviving the storm between the freezing rain and up to 16 inches of snow. People just think I ended up with 13 inches. So when's the last meeting? Saturday? Yeah, maybe Sunday. I'll update my background. February 1st picks up all the snow. Hey, Collector Rick, hope everything's good. A lot of the silver content. Hey, Beach, Cats and Honey, Chris, and Brian, and Jen. So I do have officially have LLC now, Maccabees LLC. So thing I get going is the website. Jack and get the website get going on that, so I can start selling product. Um, right now, it's just going to be a simple trap, my swarm traps, two swarm traps. Be picking up tomorrow. Found a local grocery store that sells them cheaper than anybody, so I got them ordered. 15 is the start, so I didn't miss anybody. There are 23 people now. That's good. Hey, oh, there's Ryan. The you, Clay. Good thing that's everybody that's posted. Hi. Hope everybody's doing good. A little bit. Oh, let me get a little bit better. Let me check what speaker I got going. I got the wrong one. Let's see if that speaker is better. All right, let me try that one. Is that better? I'm not breaking up. All right, that's cool. Hey, Tony. Hope everything's good. Thanks for letting me know it sounds better. So yeah, so I got my LLC started. Maccabees is the name of it, and I bought some 15 totes. So I'll be getting those tomorrow, picking them up at noontime, 11 to noon. Hey, Dave, out on the West Coast. Yeah, talked to me. Yep, for a little bit. I remember that now. Yeah, I really enjoyed it this year, especially the free dinner, no life dinner. Um, talking to you, Tony, and everybody else there, and afterwards, got to see my cousins. Peggy, one cousin, she's the same age as I am. We actually were born just like a week difference, 10 days. So yeah, so that's always good to see them. And then I spent the last dinner with the Hives for Heroes, and that's a win-win there all the way. Especially with the companies, people that they're buying on donating all that money for some collectibles or bragging rights stuff they're selling, like paintings and stuff like that. The way to be painting. So yeah, silver and honey, silver and gold's been doing really well, and copper. Actually, all the metals have been doing good. Um, I got a couple IRAs, and I took 100% control of them a couple weeks ago, and got rid of most of my bonds and all but 5%. And because they got a little bit gold, but then I don't think they're going to do good. And I bought a lot of mining stocks, and they're rocking. They've already doubled and tripled in 2 weeks. The mining stocks. So keeping my even though the market's been going down a little bit, and I have my investments have not. So like I said, we got like 12 to 13 inches of snow. Been sunny the last 2 days, which is good. The hardest part is it's been darn cold. It started last Monday, not yesterday, Monday a week ago. We went down below freezing. And right now, all the way to February 12th, yeah, February 12th, February 11th or the 12th, they don't have any days forecasted above freezing. And the next 4 nights, it's going to be below. The lows will be negative, all negative numbers. And I think the coldest is -6, -7, somewhere in that back, somewhere in that ballpark. So we're going to have basically almost 3 full weeks of not getting above freezing. And most days just getting up in the teens, like all of this week and half of next week. I'd have to go back and look at the forecast again, since I don't quite remember. So yeah, 45 degrees. That's good. Melting all that. Did you get much, Jack and Jeanette? Did you get much ice? We did. I think our high today was 24. So that's actually the hottest day we're going to have for at least the next 12 days, 10 days. We're looking right now. Let me look at the daily. Tomorrow is supposed to be a high of 17. Thursday 19, Friday the high 13, Saturday 13, Sunday's the high 19. Monday, there we go. Next Monday, it's going to be 26 degrees. And next Tuesday, on my next speed chat, will be 28. Wednesday, the 4th of will be 31. Actually, Thursday, February 5th, it's supposed to be 36 degrees with snow, wet snow. So got about another week and a half of about 9 more days, 9 more days of cold weather. Yeah, Mike, it's been cold. We had full sun today. No clouds, no nothing. So yeah, 20, 24 degrees is a heat wave. Yeah, good joke. All right, everybody's going over to Flower Street Farm. Get some of those steaks. I hope that's 200 steaks and like a 5 gallon bucket of Peabody's honey. That sounds pretty good, actually. So that's good. Everybody thinks it sounds good. Oh yeah, I actually that's a good point. Start. I actually tasted all of them. Like I said, I liked every one of them, and two of them Phillips down in Texas, I really liked, and somebody's else was like, "Ooh, this." Both of them were. The one in Texas, Phillips was really floral. I remember that. The other one was sweet. It actually was a combination of sweet, like mine, and a little bit of southern twang to it. I guess that's Tapalo or one of those flavors. So yeah, I got to pick one and start and finish the bottle. That's one of my goals this year is finish everybody's bottles. So I don't eat so much of my honey, so I sell it. So yeah, I did check my hives for all the entrances, and most of the snow actually on the front of the boxes were melted off. I had a quick little video I posted on YouTube. So I believe all my hives are still alive. The only one that had still pretty much snow on it was that one right. Well, my finger's not working good. That one right there, next to the apame. Um, I'm not sure about that one. It's a little bit more exposed to than all my other ones. So that one might be an issue. That's got one of my homemade boxes on it. Cheap box. Probably should burn that one or turn it into a swarm trap or something. I think my favorite honey so far that I've tasted was Phillips. Um, I have to find my box. His one from his farm. Yeah, mangrove. That's a good one. So I don't have anything else really, really new. I haven't been doing too much work in my barn. It's been in the mid 20s. That's my heat wave area. When I go to warm up from being outside, I go in the barn to warm up because it's in the mid to upper 20s. It was 28 degrees the other day when I was shoveling the snow. I used my snow blower. Is Philip online? I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. He hasn't been on any of my lines. So, not a big deal. So, I'm going to start making some swarm traps and bottom boards with the warm way. Oh, I didn't call Michael yet. I got to call Michael from 21st B. He sometimes jumps on. Yeah, I know how Philip gets. He'll jump on here and start telling this little story. Well, I did find well, it's almost official. He had to talk to his dad. Another place for me to put 3 or 5 more beehives east of me, about 4.5 miles away, which is 5 miles away, close to five, 4.5 to 5, which is a perfect spot. I actually think spotted lanternfly tasted good at the beginning. It's just the finish that wasn't very good. The aftertaste. Tasted smoky barbecue at the beginning for me, but the finish, the aftertaste was not good. So mix the two together with some good barbecue might work to cover up that aftertaste. Yeah, I didn't notice any of that in any of my highs. I've seen quite a few around this past summer, but I don't know. I pulled all my honey by August 1st, and I think most of the spotted fly lantern was all like the next month. So Maybe they're eating it up. Maybe that's what's in the hives right now. Well, was in the hive. I do want to check. Actually, I'm to the point now. The next time we get 45 degrees and decent weather, maybe even 40 degrees, I'm going to open up all my hives and put that global patty or half of a global patty in because in my area, the last 10 years since I've been, and I say 9 years, I've been keeping track. The silver maple trees have either bloomed February 28th, the last day of February, or to March 4th. 4th. That's the latest that they've ever bloomed. So that's only 30 days away, 31 days away. Well, could be 28 plus three more, 30, yeah, 31 days, 31 to 35 days away. So that's the first pollen. And there's it just that's the first. I'm allergic to everybody here. No, that's the first pollen source. Crocus might be blooming, but there's not many crocus flowers. That's the real true pollen coming in. So I'd like to get the pollen patties on 4 weeks ahead of time. So right now, looking at the weather, I don't think I'm going to be getting 4 weeks ahead of time because, like I said, the warmest day, first 40-degree days is the 11th of February. That's crazy. One day. I hope that changes. So I might not get them on till the middle of February, which means I only have 2 to 3 weeks. I might only give them a third of a patty. So one box, I bought 2 boxes. I might be freezing one box in the freezer for next winter, the next year at this time. What did Richard do? Turpentine. Yeah, Rick. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments. So I don't know when I'm going to get these pollen patties on my hives and check them. So I think I'm going to keep the Apame hive, and I'm going to keep 3 of these 5 hives in the back. The one's right. Come on, finger. The one's right. Oh, this is crazy. It's not showing up. The ones up here with the owls sitting on top of them. There's 5 hives there, and 2 of them are getting moved, and 3 of them are staying with the Apame hive because I haven't gotten any news from my neighbor down below me yet. So as of right now, I can only have 4 hives in my backyard. I'm going to move some, maybe move some to the bottom of my backyard. My neighbor will have no clue. Nobody will have any clue that they're down there. So make some mead with the dew honey. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Make some mead or brew a beer with some dew honey in it. Give it a smoky flavor. That might work. They make smoked beers just for people who like smoked beers. I've made one once in my life when I used to brew a lot. Now it's once every 2 years. Hey, Dennis. Good to see you. Turpentine. That's not good. I think I'd like that, honey. So that's what's going on. Haven't moved any farther yet on my node pads. I'm working on the traps and the bottom boards right now. Still trying to find the best place to get my ingredients from. So I just got to do some more searching. But I do have some. I've been kind of working on my kitchen. I'm actually redoing my kitchen probably in about 3 weeks to a month. But actually, I'm doing the whole first floor of my house, and it's a ranch house. So I'm actually doing the whole house, except for the bedrooms and the hallway, the guest bathroom. Putting all new floors in, ripping up my existing hardwood floors, my tile floor, my engineered wood floor, and putting all white oak in everywhere. And then I'm going to paint my cabinets. Going to change one cabinet out to a pantry cabinet next to the refrigerator, but getting a new refrigerator. So I've been looking at refrigerators. So doing a lot of work on the house, starting probably next week, 2 weeks. And then my contractor, friend of mine, her husband son deal, but husband's wife is one of my beekeepers that I mentored, but she's on her own now. She runs 2 to 3 hives, so she gets her queens from me basically when one of her hives die or the queen don't make it or she wants to replace the queen. Yeah, Dave, you need to build a whole nother room. You need to make a honey room. So yeah, and put your honey if it's warm enough. Put all your honey stuff down there. Sounds like a good plan. I did do a little bit of bottling today, but I've been having issues with my high speed filler. It won't fill up to the right level that I've got it programmed for. It ends up short, 15 to 20 grams short. And I try to calibrate it, and it gets a little bit better, but then it runs bad again. So I don't know what's going on. I got to do some search and find out what's going on with the high speed filler, why it won't fill to the um, full pound weight or whatever I set it for. Yeah, that's a good idea, Dave. Yeah, I'm actually going to do, after I get done with the first floor, I'm going to do the basement. I'm going to put down the vinyl planking that looks like wood in the basement and then repaint the walls. I finished it third. Let me see, it'll be 33 years this summer. So I finished it probably 32 years ago. I've been in this house that long, since 1992, and I built the house. So it's time to do an update. So now that I got free time. Hey, Pennsylvania. Hey, Perry. Joe. Yeah, I got 30 people watching. That's pretty good. So I'm moving. I'm getting along. So next thing I got to do is get a web. Like I said, I got to get that website going. I started one 2 years ago, but I never finished it. I think I'm just going to delete that one and start up a whole nother one. It was done in what software I used. In fact, it wasn't even called Maccabees at the time. So I probably I'm probably gonna hire some kid to do it. I don't want to do I could do it myself. I don't want to. Too much reminds me of work. Plus these young guys can do it better than I can. And half the time I can do it in. So I'll probably pay somebody to build my website real quick. So I'm gonna have to do a little searching on that too. Unless somebody here that's a beekeeper that does that for their job, building websites. Probably need about a dozen grocery items on it, cash register items on it. And DC Dave, it's always project after project after project. Rick, you got to get more better wheels. 40-year-old Buick. That's an antique. Maybe you should restore it, rebuild it, put a new engine in it. Or if it needs a new transmission. Yeah. I wouldn't want to walk 2 miles right now to check my bees at this temperature. Hey, Feathers, Flowers. Oh, I don't have my notes with me. Don't remember your name. I know I got it written down. I had a party um, this past Friday, just before the storm, at my place. I had to do a little cleanup, and I put all my post-it notes in my drawer. And there's somewhere. Oops, wait a second. It's dropping stuff. Ah, man. So I got it written down. I'll figure it out next time. Yeah, so website and get product built. Product. And then I'll be at Nobby next year as a vendor, hopefully. We'll join in with some vendor part time. There's a couple people that were interested when I talked to them this year at Nobby 3 weeks ago. It's been 3 weeks already, or 2.5 weeks. Good thing Nobby wasn't this weekend, no, this past weekend. Well, Saturday would have been bad. Everybody trying to get home Sunday. That would have been a mess. So, yeah, DC's pictures is coming. I'll take pictures of my place as I'm building my stuff too, and my new simple traps when I get them done, and my bottom boards. I haven't bought any bottom boards yet. I think I know where I want to get, who I want to buy them from, but I bought 4 of them from them already at Nobby, and I need to put them together, see what they look like. My barn. And like I said, I'm not working in my barn when it's 28 degrees. I have a heater, but it'd have to run for an hour and a half to get any 50 degrees, 55 degrees in the barn. And I don't want to I only want to go heat up my barn if I'm going to be in there all day. Make a commitment, be in there 5, 6 hours is a minimum. So it won't be tomorrow, maybe Thursday or Friday. I'll go get in the barn in the morning and work most of the day, putting the hives together. We got 4 hives still to put together before middle of March, March 1st. That'll be here before you know it. 30, 35, 34 days. You can't believe it's going to be that trees blooming when it's so cold the last week and this week. Oh. So somebody needs to jump on with me. Dave, on the West Coast. We don't have many people on anybody. I need Joey or somebody to jump on here, but he's not even here. I don't think, unless he's in the background. Oops, 25 people. Yeah. Hit the like buttons too. Hit that, let that sting that button. That will help me a little bit. So, yeah, so all these hives will be gone. I'll just have my four little hives back here, and I'm going to put some hive, keep my hives back here and not tell anybody. They're behind my barn. They can't see them. So hopefully I'll have four in this one and three in this one and four sitting right here, and that'll be my four limit that people can see from the road up that other way, that way. Up that way is the private drive in the house. AKBs was a programmer who did B sites. Okay, let me write that down. Because I'd rather keep it to somebody that's a beekeeper, if I could. If two of us see what software he uses. It doesn't make any difference where they are in the country. Actually, it could be even overseas. Yeah, yeah, it's all on the computer. So I'll check up with B&K. Yeah, I've I've watched those. I know he does a couple YouTubes too. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've done program HTML5 and 6 programming that build screens, web screens, but it's not my forte. And now they got plugs for everything. So you got the base, and you basically buy um, packages of software and you plug them right in and build it just like that. Minutes, if you know where to get it, all the best plugins. That's the key, is knowing the plugins. I don't know the plugins anymore. I've been out of the loop too many years. Yeah, you mentioned that DC the price of keeping bees. It does get up higher and higher. I talked about that. I don't know, during the summer, that we sell our honey too low of a price, or a lot of people do, especially down south. Um, if you're still selling for $8 or $10, you're not making it. You're not making any money if you got to buy all these chemicals, more boxes. Um, the good rule of thumb for feeding pollen patties is 3 to 4 weeks, 4 weeks before your first flowers. So I don't know if that's for you where you're at. If that's when your first silver, or I don't know if you got silver maple trees or red maple trees. Those are typically the first bigger trees that start flowering, not counting like crocus and little ground flowers that might be coming up, um, skunk cabbage and stuff like that, because there's not enough of that. So I try to get mine out the 4 weeks. My goal is 4 weeks, which for me is February 1st, because March 1st, basically, my silver maple trees start blooming. First week of March. So I try to get first week of February. But this year, I'm not going to open my hives up at 20 degrees or 19 degrees to put pollen patties in. So it looks like February 11th is my first day that will be 40 degrees. So I'll pop the lids off at 40 degrees, just pop them in and close them back up. So hopefully that answers your question. A good question. So 3 to 4 weeks, and that'll get them stimulated. So you have to be careful. If you stimulate them too much, you might have to worry about swarming, early swarms, a month to 5 weeks later. Yeah. So Clay, I think you're right. He's up north. Yeah. Yeah. He's in Maine. He's in central Maine. So yeah, your first trees are probably April. So March 1st or the first half of March, if your first trees are blooming in April, would be my guess. And since you're a central, you're not by the ocean, by the Atlantic Ocean, so you're going to be cold, colder than we are right now, probably what I am. Yeah. So yeah. So like I said, if you're in April when your first flower, so sometime in March, back up 4 weeks. When you get a decent day, put those pollen patties on. I know you don't have to worry about small hive beetles where you're at, and this time of year you don't have to worry about them anyway. So then you can take those 5 hives, should be pretty big, and you can split them then, get you 10 decent hives. So your 5 hives can still produce honey out of them and make 5 more hives. Yeah, well, that's why I warn them. Don't you have to be? You just got to be aware that they might swarm at the earliest part of your swarm season. My swarm season, the first ones are first to second week of April for me. So if I push them really, really hard and I don't put honey boxes on them April 1st, the chances are they'll be swarming. Is a rule of thumb. But if I put boxes on it, I might push them back to the second week of April and they'll be swarming if I don't do anything. So no problem. I've just learned that from over the years. Well, DC's got an all different weather than most of us. Being on the coast, you get that constant weather, constant breeze coming in. If I remember right, when I used to be at the Columbian Gorge, it used to be foggy a lot too in the morning during the summertime, spring and summer. I did a job for Hewlett Packard in Washington, right on the coast. The plant's probably still there. I think I've flown to every major area of the United States, except for North Dakota and Hawaii. I think I've been every other state, every city in every other state. Too many trips. I forget most of them until I drive by them. So, oh, I've been in that building. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this year with my new adventure. Being retired, starting my new adventure in my Maccabees company and selling 4 or 5 products online, not even counting honey. I don't have enough. Right now, I sell enough. Well, I'll sell some of it online and make, mark it up a little high. So if I do sell it, I make some money off of it. But I have basically 70 pounds left, little over a 5 gallon bucket, 5 1/3 gallon. Hey, Keith, 5 1/3 gallon buckets left, and that'll be gone by end of March, April. So I'll run out of honey before I can pull more honey. So I don't like. I only sell it to enough places to keep it year round, so I don't lose my customers. And I'm not like Keith, pour out 300, 250 pound hives of honey. There's too many beekeepers where I live. There's enough flowers if there weren't so many beekeepers. I'm hoping the fad of everybody being doing chickens and bees settles down a little bit, and some of the people who've been doing it a few years drop out. But hey, Matt, uh, like everybody I've mentored so far that contacted me and all that are still beekeepers, and I know Randy Sargent. I think he's up to about 12 hives, and he's only a mile and a half away from me. And like I said, Kathy, she keeps her 2 to 3 hives. She overwinters two and does a split and gets up to 3 or 4, and then she combines them and overwinters two with 2 strong hives. That's her little routine. And the 2 mics, they got their 7 or 8 hives. So, yeah, not too many of them are dropping out because they're having success the first couple of years. So I only got Antonio. He's been over to my place last year probably 8 times, and he's going to get bees from me this year. So he's going to start out. I'll finish mentoring him. So he's a good guy. So that'll be fun. And I'm probably going to have a learning yard this year too. I did one a couple of years ago. I didn't do one this past year. Too busy working and retiring. So I'll do that and push them, have my products available. Anybody wants to buy any. So gotta have to do it probably the 1st of April. So my swarm traps can be used. I'm going to work on a way of putting a handle on them too. Um, so if people who want to hang them can hang them. Not and only add $1 to the cost or 50 cents to the cost, something like that. Hmm. So almost an hour now. So is Bob on tonight? I didn't check my phone if I got any notice. Walker B, yeah, he's on. But that's all right. What my feeling is with that one. Yeah, Matt, Dave did a good job with his bottling tank, and he gave a really good point for John for Hilco about the welding, getting the threading in the right position. So when you go to tighten the level piece, it gets tight right at the top. So I didn't when I bought Hilco's 19 gallon one a few years ago, I didn't run into that issue. So I'm not sure if that was potluck, Dave, or not. Yeah, I've had enough of cold weather. It's been, like I said, it's been over a week and a third already. And it just keeps getting colder and colder. And it's going to be a whole nother week, not to the 4th. Next Wednesday, yeah, that's when I looked up. Next Wednesday, we finally get above freezing. And we don't get up to 40 until the 11th of February. I hope the 4th is the 40th. They change it. That's pretty far out for them. They can't get shit on us. Last storm, they couldn't predict it the day before, especially the ice part, but I could understand that. The freezing rain. So I'm hoping everybody's okay. Hopefully, I know Kentucky still had 40,000 people without electricity, and one older lady passed away shoveling snow because she had a heart attack or something, heat exhaustion, something. So be safe out there too. I didn't even get my loader out. I just did everything with my snow blower. It does a better job than my tractor. But for moving snow, my tractor does a lot better. And I think next year I'm going to get the snowblower attachment um, for it. As we keep getting the snow, we're supposed to get another 2 to 5 inches next Wednesday when it gets up to 40 degrees. It's supposed to rain that day, so I'll have to check when the rain comes and get all that in there. I don't like doing it in the rain, but I might have to because it's a cold front. And it's going to get cold after that till like another 5 or 6 days. I saw another 40-degree day. So looks like we're going to go into the end of February. Last week of February, only in the 30s and low in the 30s basically. So maybe this will be an outlier year, and the maple trees won't bloom until like the second week of March. So if I get them in on the 11th, that'll give me my 3 to 4 weeks. So it's possible Mother Nature might be pushed back a week this year. Last couple of years have been super early, especially 2 years ago. It was a month early, 3 weeks. So I got a feeling this year it's going to be a week late, maybe 2 weeks late, 10 days late. Because I looked at the long AccuWeather goes back out a whole month basically. I didn't see any warm temperatures at the big, at least to the 15th of the month. I have to look at that again. Let me pull that over to the other screen. As I get, yeah. Let me check this out real quick. There's that 40. There's that second 40. Oh, there's a 4850 on the 16th and 17th. So they're not showing any 48 and 52 degrees on the 16th and 17th of February. So we'll definitely have the patties on by then at that time. Then hopefully we're done with super cold weather. I know March can be nasty, but not that cold. Get down into like 20 degrees, not negative degrees. I'm not buying any bees this year. I don't plan on it. No queens this year. I will probably get one free package because the guy that's up northern Ohio buys hundreds of them and sells them. Goes down to Georgia, southern Georgia, and brings up a few hundred truckloads. And he does all of Ohio. Starts from Cincinnati and goes all the way up to, I think, Akron, Ohio. And I help him out for this greater Cincinnati area. Just getting them out of the truck and handing them out to everybody and stuff like that. And I used to get one of his hives that's not one of his packages that aren't looking that good that he won't sell. Will give me one of those for the work, and I'll just we take the bees and we queen it when I graft. I got a feeling this year it's not going to be till first or second week of April. Yeah, that's true. DC, not since it's hard for you to be able to do free shipping because you got to fly in to be going over the mountains. So It'd be a 2 day adventure. You bring in a U-Haul or some big truck trailer and drive back 2 days here and 2 days back. That's if you're making driving 10, 12 hours a day. I would guess you're right. From your place to Kentucky, Louisville, it's probably a 26-hour drive, 27 hours, be my guess. I don't know the highway system up north. I-70, you probably get a cut across, get the I-70 and cut across and then cut down 69 or something like that. Probably before that, 65. That would be a pain. Yeah. DC, I don't know if you've learned how to graft, but you can buy packages really cheap and go that way. But I would recommend replacing the queens with one of your queens, or let your one of your hives get into the swarm stage and cut those. Watch them, check them every 3 days. And once they cap the cell, you'll know within 2 days if they cap the cells, and then wait until like day 13, like 4 more days, then they won't be swarming yet. And you can cut all those cells out and replace those queens and put virgin queens in there. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, your climate's so different. You got so much rain at times. That's the only thing I recommend people to buy packages. I think 90% of them are junk queens. I replace if I get this year. I'm still going to get swarms, but I'm going to be careful how many swarms I put in my place. I'll probably pinch a lot of queens and just dump bees in my hives, or might put them all into nukes, and then if they look like they're good hives, sell them as like $150 nukes, and sell them as swarm nukes. And I have a lot of customers that want to buy them because it's better than a package. Probably not quite as good as a regular nuke, overwintered nuke, but it's an overwintered swarm. So I'll probably keep the big swarms, and then any mid-season, late-season swarms, put in nukes, and then if the queen looks good, I'll keep her, and if not, I'll replace her, and then sell it as a nuke with one of my nuke queens. So I'm going to be grafting more this year, and banking more queens this year. So I can do that. So if I catch a swarm, I can just put one of my bank queens in and sell it as a nuke once it gets big enough, if it is big enough. So that's my game plan. Plus, I have my own nukes. Because one thing, selling nukes, which is temporary bees, don't count. So I can have as many nukes as I want in my yard, as long as I don't overwinter them. They're temporary bees. I have to find out what my neighbor's doing. I'll wait till the end of February, spring fever hits. We get some warm weather, and then I'll ask them if they want to consider selling their house and property, selling their property, or their property and house property. I prefer to buy both the lot and the house lot, the house, and both pieces, and then I can flip the house. Put $20,000, $20,000 into it, new floor, and paint it, and flip it. Hopefully, not too much bad work. Repair work has to be done. the all minor stuff. It's a 1958 house, so I'm sure it's got some. So that's my game plan this year. And then anytime I'm not working my bees or grafting and all that good stuff, I'll be building product to sell. And I'll probably go to the NABI conference. I'll go to the West Virginia conference. I'll go probably to the Wisconsin one, the Midwest one that's coming up here in a week, and maybe the St. Louis one. So do those four, do three of those four. I'll do Nobby for sure. And then West Virginia, I'll probably do two, since that's kind of a newer, different area. And then probably do West Virginia. I probably won't go up to Wisconsin. Would be my first guess. Do those three expos slash conferences or slash whatever they call them, and sell my product. I have to see how well it goes at Nobby first. Guess how much I need to bring. I can talk to Jason about swarm traps. He sold those wooden ones 2 years ago. See how many he sold. He'll tell me. Good guy. So I need to talk to him. I got his number, so I'll call him. Yeah, well, I'm selling a bunch of hot frames. I just got 5 boxes when I have probably 3 existing boxes. I have about 8 honey boxes that need frames. So I'll be doing a little bit of that, Dennis, on a couple hives to do my 7 or 8 boxes of frames. So 3 boxes I need to wax them, um, rub some wax on them, just so they can draw them out better. So I'm getting my numbers down. And of course, when I pull my um, nukes, I'll be putting deep foundations in that I have to recomb. I don't count them as I don't do any extra feeding for them because that's right right in the middle of the honey flow. I don't need to feed them any early. So I will be putting on those 7 boxes on in March, and I'll be when I'm feeding them pollen, and I'll be putting a box on them, and I'll put those boxes and get them drawn out. And then I'll put them out in the yard and let them take all that honey, sugar water honey back to the hive, so they just use it on the brood. And I'll put my supers on. So that's my game plan. Yeah, that's a lot, Dennis. 30 boxes. I got, like I said, about 7 boxes, 5 new ones, and between all the frames of how many boxes I got? 90 boxes. I probably have another 2 more boxes out of those 900 frames that need wax. So, hey, Russell Koopman, how you doing? See that you got on here. Yeah, there's still 12 of us with Bob being on. I think I'll go to 9 o'clock like I've been lately, and then get off. Yeah, you're right, Keith. You feed them some pollen patties, you feed them some thin sugar water, 0.5 or 0.75 to 1 to simulate nectar, 0.5, 0.6 to 1, somewhere in that ballpark, and half to 1, and they'll go crazy. Actually, I plan on doing that on, like I said, a few hives just to get those 7 last frames built out. Probably just 2 hives. I probably before the 2 that I move over here, I'll do that too. Leave them up. So glad you joined, Russell. So the biggest news is my LCC, my LLC got approved. We got that email yesterday from the state, so that was good. So I now officially do have a company again, second time in my life. Tabletop Brewing was my first company. Now it's Maccabees, and I do plan on selling 4 to 5 products, all different. So actually, I'll have a little bit more than that because I'll have the solid bottom board and I'll have the screen bottom boards. And well, I don't have my notes here. Somebody wanted me to make a warm way Apame bottom. So I need to get, actually I need to talk to somebody and get he can make that, he can probably make that product for himself. And I can, yeah. I need to buy a 3D printer. That's another thing that's on my list. Probably one of the better bamboo models, bigger ones. Do some 3D printing. Do some prototyping. So more fun, more fun. Yeah, Clay. Like it snows up to the highs. My owls on top of the hives right now. You can just see the top ears of the owls, and that's about it. The top of the head. And right now, let's see what the temperature is. We did get warmer today. Right now, it's a balmy 15 degrees. It's supposed to go down to -3 or -4 tonight. I think tomorrow night's -6 to -8. So, yeah. So that was a nice day, actually. Well, it was windy, though. 24, sunny, and breezy. 15-mile-per-hour winds. So if you stayed out of the wind and in the sun, it felt good, but being in the wind, it didn't. Yeah, Russell, did you get any snow? I'm sure Clay did. I'm safe saying 12 inches, but some people just north of me, like a mile, and got 14 inches. So I'm somewhere in that area. I measured at one time; it was at 10 inches, and I know we got at least 2 more inches. I think we got 3 more inches after that. Hardly any. Wow. Yeah, cold and windy. Guess you were just out, just north, far enough north and west. I remember right. I need my notes. I didn't get my notes out before the thing. Think about it. I have to find them first. I stored them. I put them somewhere. They might be in my cabinet behind me. I got to consolidate them too. Okay. Yeah. So I do have my fourth yard. I'll be putting bees in. In my second yard, I might shut down and still just have 3 yards. It all depends on how many hives I can put on the property. I think if this one's still alive, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 more hives I got to move. I put 3 to 5 in the new property. I can put 5 more on the other property. So that's 8 to 10 hives. So I really don't need the second one. The second one I had, it's too close to egg fields, and the bees just struggle in the summertime to fall time. And they look great in the spring. And then I think when they start spraying all the crops in the middle of summer, late summer, The bees don't do so good. I think I get too much drift. I'm not that far away from them. So I want to move those hives. Good, it's a good area with black locust trees and stuff like that, but it's too close. It's only a other side of the road from a pretty big ag field that runs between the Great Miami River and the Whitewater River. Big floodplain. It floods every spring, and then they plant corn and soybean in it, and man, it grows great because it gets all that river silt every year from the river. And I do have that concern in talking about flooding. Um, I'm hoping we don't get any big rainmakers in the next few weeks because all this snow and the and ice in the Tennessee and Ohio Valley will, if it melts fast, it's going to flood the rivers, especially the Ohio River. So that seems to happen more and more these days. And the river right now is not low. I know that from the snows that we got earlier in December. I mean, I think we're up to 28 inches so far. So I saw one forecaster said we were going to get 3 to 4 feet of snow. So we only need to get one more snowstorm and we'll be over 3 feet. Need approximately 8 more inches. And we'll be at 36 inches. So I think Wednesday we're supposed to get 3 to 5 inches. So two of those will be up to 3 feet. So there's a good chance by the we've already had it rain, snows in April, but that's pretty rare. But March we get snow, so there's a good chance we're going to get over 3 feet of snow this year. Is a sum 3 to 4 feet. So yeah, more is on the way. I think I saw a 1 inch this weekend, and then a 3 to 5 Saturday or Wednesday and the Thursday morning. Right now, so I'll be at that 31 inches in the next, by maybe 2 more weeks. Yeah, I've been digging. I shoveled. I used my blower Sunday night, late Sunday, right before it was getting dark, and then we got about 2 more inches after that, and then I did it on Monday. I cleared off the last 2 inches. What's that, Tom? I only had your phone. Oh, my phone number. Here, I'll put it. I'll put I'll put it in here. It's there you go. It's public information. Plus, when I got my company now, it's going to be big time public information. Obviously, I'm probably going to get another phone number, the company phone number. And I'll get another company email. I'll be at Maccabees, but I'll probably make Maccabees at Maccabees the company email, and then I'll have my Tom at Maccabees is my personal email, something like that. I got to set that up too. I can have up to 10, I think 10 emails, addresses, eight or 10. I can't remember. Yeah, people are still digging themselves out around my area. Streets are pretty good. My son did a good job got the where I live on the west side. Got all the salt track trucks. He worked from sometime Saturday afternoon to evening. I think he went in around 5 o'clock Saturday, 5 p.m. And he came home yesterday around 4 o'clock. So he was working 16 hours on, 4 hours off, 16 hours on, 4 hours off. So basically from Saturday afternoon to Monday, 4 p.m. So he put some hours in. I got a cousin that lives down in Florida, and just south of Orlando, Florida, Kissimmee, Florida. I should go down there. I should be a snowbird January and February. Don't do much with the bees right then anyway. I can build my, actually buy a place down there and just now build all my equipment down there and just drive them back up here. And gave me a game plan. Actually, my wife and I talked about that yesterday. Yesterday, I think. We should get a place down in Florida. I need more money. Too many people. Yeah. Can't be any worse than where I live. Too many people, too many places. I'll just stay close to 75. I'll go like down the Lakeland area where it's really hot and nasty. Where Publix is. I did a lot of work for them too. Grocery store. Then I can run across that highway down to Tampa, Lakeland, somewhere between Tampa and Lakeland would be a good spot. I don't think I want to go to the Panhandle area. Too many beekeepers there. I wouldn't get any work done. Yeah, I do. I know. Maybe you never know. I actually got a nephew. Um, my nephew's son is a realtor, and my nieces and nephews are not young anymore. I think my oldest nephew is 55, 56 years old. So it's actually her son, the realtor. So I'd probably have to use him and keep it in family, but it wouldn't have to be. Yeah, so I got somebody to build my website now. I got somebody to find some land, find a mobile home for him, a double wide or something like that. Doesn't have to be fancy. Who knows? Oh, yellow leg hornets. Yeah, I'm gonna put traps out this spring, mostly for the yellow jackets. But if we ever get any leg hornets, I'll bait those up for them too. I think it's the same bait. Kill them at the beginning of the year. I don't think, yeah, I don't know how widespread the yellow legged hornet is either. I don't think it's very far yet. Do they like cold weather when they go up north? Most of the bugs can tolerate a lot, so I think yes. Hey, Alicia, when that time comes, I'll give you a ring. Ring a ding ring. Anybody here know a lot about the yellow-legged hornets? We got mites, we got hornets. I don't have a remedy for the yellow leg hornet yet. Mites, I'm not any mite. I'm not too concerned about, but the hornets maybe definitely make the opening small enough that they can't get in the hive. I know that's one thing they do. Oh man, if they're in that many states, that means they're not. No way they're going to eradicate them. And I haven't heard much noise about them. Not too much, at least not lately. Don't hear any noise this time of year, hardly. No. Yeah. And it's funny, I planted elderberry plants right after Nobby because I bought them at Nobby at that booth. Well, I can't think of the lady's booth. And stuck them in the ground, and they're sticking anywhere from 6 to 9 inches, 8, 9 inches off the ground, out of the ground. And I got like 6, 8 inches in the ground. And I can't see any of the sticks. They're all buried in snow. Yeah, Russell, good point. You know, the good news is since I've now been planting flowers and plants up in my field that's in my background, the number of dragonflies have dropped probably not, I'd say 90%. I think last year I saw 3 dragonflies, and I used to have 50 of them, maybe 95%. So I got rid of my pond some years ago. That's probably been 5 years. So yeah, ever since I got rid of the pond, the number's been going down and down. And now since I got trees and plants in my field, this top field, um, the number of dragonflies is cut way, way down. I think they like watering fields. So dragonflies ain't been a big deal. Hopefully it's a warm weather hornet with yellow leg. Yeah. Green. Yeah, that's a pretty good. Pretty good name. It's easy to remember. That's the key. You gotta get names that are easy to remember. I got a little ring to 'em. Queen Alicia. Let's say Queen somebody, Queen somebody. All right. Anybody got any more questions? Anything to talk about? 15 people watching. I think I got up to 28. Then Bob came on at 8, 40, 50 minutes ago. Yeah, Dennis, I'm almost sure you're right about that. Only the queens make it through. I don't think any males make it through. I think it's just the queens, just like the bees that live up here in the north. So I think the same thing you do with yellow jacket wasp, you can put those traps out in the springtime and catch both of them in the same trap. I think my understanding that the sweet, sour, meaty substance bait, it works for both of them. Yeah, Keith, that's a good idea. I'm going to put some out just for the yellow jackets. Hopefully, I don't catch any yellow legged ones. That would be a night. That wouldn't be good. Up where I'm at, so they can keep it. My biggest concern right now is bears. Bears are slowly coming closer and closer to Cincinnati. They're probably only really 2 counties east of me, and sometimes they get in the county next to the county I live in. So they're only like 50 miles away, 75 miles away. Probably not even that far. Claremont County is probably only 15 miles, 20 at most. So yeah, 50 miles away from the east. Good news is Indiana doesn't have any yet. They get them down to southeast Indiana, gets them just like I get them in my area occasionally. The male, 1.5 year old male bear will cut through the area looking for a home, looking for a female. But that's the only bears we have right now. So that would be the next big thing. And wild boar starting to show up in Indiana, just less than 30 miles from me. Well, bull-faced hornets are easy to take care of, Keith. Just take a just take a football or a basket. Take a basketball, paint it gray, darkish gray, with camouflage gray spots on it. Paint a little black hole at the end and stick it up in your tree. Another thing is a bald-faced hornet's nest, and they're territorial. They won't build a nest. I never could find that data, but it's pretty far away. There was one about a half a mile away from me, hanging on a tree over a road, and I saw one or two bald-faced hornets this year. And I think that nest was close enough, a half mile away, that it was far enough away that it didn't get to me, but it kept nests away that far away from any other new nests in my area. So I'm going to take a brown paper bag, one of those big paper bags, and close it up at one end and paint it gray paint with a couple coats of paint so it's semi-waterproof, and stick it on a branch. Put a little hole in it. Paint a little what looks like a hole in it, dark gray spot, and you won't have any bald-faced hornets. You probably have a nest in those down by your creek somewhere, Keith, every year. Be my guess. If you walked up and down your creek and looked up in the trees, I bet you could find one. Then you wouldn't have too many. They'd all be down there. So, and they're only good for 1 year. Those all first face hornet bags, traps, nests. Dennis, good question. Good question. Yeah. Well, it all depends, Dennis. All those trees that are bent over, if nobody touches them, you'd be surprised that they'll spring right back up. But if the power line people and the people in the yards cut those trees, branches off and all that, it will affect those trees big time. We get a lot of ice storms where I live, and the best thing can do is not to touch the trees and let them melt and spring back up on their own. Then it won't affect the tree one bit. But if you cut all that ice off, it will stun the trees for that year. I don't know what it is between the ice storm being bent over and the shock of breaking those branches off. It's tough on those trees. I'm not a scientist tree. I'm not a tree person, but I do know that the best thing to do is not to touch them. Yeah, Russell, I think if you don't have enough food on them, go in 2 or 3 weeks where you can't check the hives because it's so darn cold. They're going to be going through that food. So yeah, and if they got brood, it's really bad too because they will not leave that brood to go get food when they're so tight in a bundle. I had a package of bees a couple of years ago in my barn, and my barn was like 35 degrees, and I watched them for 2 days, and they didn't move more than a quarter inch in that box up around that round in the box. They hardly moved, and I couldn't even get them to move. They were packed in so tight. Yeah, it is a fine line. I don't think if you leave them alone, I think you'll be fine. If you mess with the trees, then it might, it'll affect the whole bloom of that tree that year. Keith, I don't know how early you are. You're in that in between stage. This is, you got above freezing today or tomorrow, or next day or two, you'll get above freezing, won't you? If that's the case, it'll all be melted, and the trees will be back up in a few 2 days. If the sun comes out, you'd be surprised how fast they bend right back up. In the pictures I saw, the pine trees. The pine trees is a different story. If that top breaks off, they're dead. They can't handle it. Their ground broken off. But there'll be a lot of moisture in the ground, so the flowering will be really good. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm afraid of the Ohio River flooding. And where Ohio River meets the Mississippi, that area flooding. Luckily, what's the river that runs up to the north central part of the United States? Brain dead. There's not heavy snow load up there. There's some, but not like it is in the Ohio Valley, not around the Ohio River. And it's all the way up to Pennsylvania, all the way up to DC, Maine, and all that heavy snow. So that's a lot of water. It's going to be coming down the Ohio River. So I could see some local flooding, Richmond, Ohio, and some other towns, and the Licking River in Kentucky always floods. What I'm concerned right now, Russell, the people down south, all the way down to the panhandle, basically, they've been below freezing the last 2 days. And every flower in Georgia, northern Florida, the whole panhandle, all the way up, got all this freezing weather. They're on a dearth right now. Every flower's dead. So it'll be a while. It'll be a few days, a week, for some flowers. And if there's trees blooming, they're probably done. I mean, they might reflower a little bit, but not going to be nothing like they're real big. So everywhere, the whole southern, north, mid, and northwest, actually, at least from the Rocky Mountains east, every flower's dead, except for middle Florida on down. So I know Bruce was talking about he was putting supers on and all that because the flow was really good, and there is no more flow. Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way, Keith. I'm actually minus numbers for the next 4 or 5 days. I think till Sunday. I think Sunday it's 0, or Saturday it's 0. Saturday or Sunday it's 0 degrees or low. So you're right. You lost all your flowers if you had anything flowering. And that's going to slow all the any tree plants that were budding. That will stop the budding big time. Might even kill the buds. Might have to grow new buds being this cold. So I don't think, actually, it'll probably help my area because it's going to push everything back, which is good because then the last freeze, the black locust trees and all the apple trees and fruit trees won't be blooming in the middle of April. Hopefully, it's the end of April, and the chances of getting a frost, good freeze frost, then is a lot lower. So this cold weather will probably help my area out to have more honey. But down south, where it was so warm this past month and now so cold, it's not a good combination for the bees. Hopefully, got enough honey in them the last few couple weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's just thinking about it. It's gonna be hard. The people that had was already getting flow. Even people down in Texas, they got just they're just. In fact, I looked all the way down to the tip of Texas, and they got down below freezing. And I don't think they ever go down below freezing. I saw that today. I looked this morning. 32, 33 degrees was all of Texas or colder. So everything's dead. Dead of winter this week for 2/3 of the country. And of course, all the Rocky Mountain areas are probably just the west coast up to into Canada is probably the only safe area. And like I said, the southern half of Florida. Oh, that got me over 9 o'clock. Over 9 o'clock. Yeah, I agree, Keith. I hope we don't lose too many. I hope people didn't lose hives in the storm with all the ice and and tree branches falling on them. You know, trees cracking and landing on them. And some people had some pretty high winds too. I didn't see any of that. Some people did, and hopefully no wind issue. So it might be a pretty bad year for a bad start for some people. I checked on my hives yesterday. I walked through everywhere. Let me unhide this comment. And my tarps that you see in the background really helped good because it kept the snow off the hives. The backside of it's all blown up against it. It's actually halfway up the hive, so they're all getting insulated really well. At least the bottom half of the boxes, because the snow is all the way up. The backside, the deep box in some areas. So I use the snow as an insulation barrier. It's a good wind block too. So the backside, all the snow is protecting the wind from getting to them. I would think Keith probably has a couple frames of brood. I would guess on my hives right now, Queen's definitely laying. We did 2 weeks ago. We got up to 7. We did have 4 or 5 days in the 50s and 60s, and we even got up to 71 degrees 2 weeks ago before this cold weather came. I'm sure the queen laid, and they were bringing in pollen from somewhere. And it wasn't chicken feed pollen either. It's real pollen. I think it was from the witch hazel blooming. So I would think my hives right now at least have a brood about that big on 2 frames where where the cluster is. So they won't be moving. So I hopefully there's enough food on them for these 2.5 weeks, or they're starved to death. And I don't know that answer right now. All I knew right now, when I checked on them a month ago, they were still down in the bottom box. So they should be like, I would think, mostly into the top box, a little bit down in the bottom box. So hopefully they still had plenty of honey, at least the top third of their cluster, so they can be fed through this time. But they'll eat that up. They'll eat that up in a heartbeat. So yeah, this is going to be this long spell being cold. It's not going to be easy on the bees. Now, as I think about it, they're going to run out. It takes a lot of energy, and they're not going to be moving, and there's not going to be enough food on the bees in the bee cluster for 2.5 weeks, maybe through 2.5 weeks before they can start moving throughout the hive. Oh, I don't know that one either. He talked about it. I don't think he mentioned. He just said protein. Only I don't know what. Oh, they got some patty up there. It's like a global patty. He's talked about them before. They're only available in Canada. And they got yeah, they got a good patty up there. I can't think the name of it that he used that he buys that he puts on his bees. I do think this is my first year in quite a few years. I went with all double deeps over winter. I think I'm going to go back with my warm way and with my entrance. I'm going to go back to single brood over winter in single boxes. Since I knew halfway, the third way through the winter, they were still down in the bottom box. Yeah, it's hard to tell about spotty patterns this early in the year. And actually, that can be a good sign if it's got good genetics. Pulling out all the bad larvae, mites in it. I think that's the difference between VHS queens today versus the first ones that came out. I think they're better. I know in the past they used to just pull out a whole 5 or 6 cells and destroy all those brood. Now I think they're down to 2 or 3 cells of targeting which one's the bad one. So the number of holes, brood holes in your hive brood pattern is not as bad, not as much damage done by the bees, uncapping and recapping. But I think I'll leave that up to the scientists to figure that stuff out. So, anybody else got anything? Yeah, Russell, that's exactly right. They don't need to eat near as much because they already got their full. They fill up a lot more. The fat bodies of the winter bees. And one thing good about this cold weather, I was up to 8 flying days, um, and I count flying days on the winter bees because once I get up to about 14 flying bees, I want to have brood emerging out of my hives with really soon, if not already, on the 14th day of flying. So this cold weather does keep the winter bees from flying. That's for the northern people. Now Keith, that down where he's at, he's got brood a lot later in the year, and his brood's coming a lot earlier in the year. So he probably doesn't have as big as problem with that. But up here, where it's going to be another 30 more days for the first pollen, um, if we get warm days, the 60-degree days, those winter bees will be flying again. So there's a good chance the next 30 days there won't be another 7 or 8 more flying days, especially if we go another to the middle of February um, before the bees will be flying again. So that actually will help bees surviving because the winter bees will be there. They'll have enough food in them, protein for the early bees. So a very good point. Yeah, Keith. Well, I'm an engineer, so I do a lot of studying and learn a lot about every subject that I get into. Not being retired now, I've been doing a lot about bees and reading all the books, some of the books, and I when I listen to Bob Beanie and some of the scientists, I don't really listen to their talk in general. I try to pick out unique comments that they make, and it's usually more off the scuff type comments when they're talking back and forth. I pick up on that kind of stuff, and a lot of it's just repeat stuff. But every once in a while, they'll say something kind of quite unique. So I think a couple of years, 2 years ago, I started counting flying days because winter bees, when they fly, will die just like worker bees. Their wings will get deteriorated. And I know during the winter time they don't fly as much and fly as far because it's not ideal weather looking for flowers or anything for food. So it might be more than 2 weeks. It might be 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks before their wings deteriorate and they don't fly back. But they're a little bit heavier, but their wings are probably a little bit bigger. I don't know that. I should look into that. If the winter bees' wings are actually bigger, so it's still 14 days, like a worker bee. Rough, anywhere from 12 to 14 days, depending if they have to fly 1 mile or they have to fly 3 miles every day to find food. I guess in Keith's area, my area, I don't think my bees go more than 1.5 miles most of the time. That's why a lot of people lose their bees in March. It's because around my area, March is the worst month when people lose their bees because their cluster got so small because the winter bees are flying so much that they don't have bee numbers in their hives, and then we'll have 2 days or 3 days of below freezing weather, first week of March or the last week of February, and the bees will starve because they're freeze to death basically. They're starved and freeze to death because they don't have the bees to keep them warm, and that's really that happens a lot. That's why most hives, in my opinion, outside of mites and diseases, that's the number one killer of bees. Winter bees are flying, and the bee numbers get so small. We get a cold spell, late season cold spell, and that does them in because they lack of numbers. That's another reason why I like to put pollen patties and feed them early so that the queen lays a little bit more now. So in 3 weeks from now, which will be end of February, I'll have a little bit more bees in the hive, maybe another 1,000, 1,500 more bees in the hive. Well, that could be enough from them having enough bees to keep themselves warm on that last cold spell that came through. Yeah, that happened last year, Russell. Exactly right. So I count flying days. So I'm at 8 right now, flying days. And 2 days were really big time flying days. We've got up mid 60s to 70, 71 degrees. So I'm calling 8 days so far. So I got probably about 2 more weeks, a week of flying. I mean, seven to 10 more days. And if I don't have young bees emerging out to keep the numbers adequate for keeping warm on these late cold days, spring on these late winter days before spring. It's a problem. It can be a problem, especially in the northern climates. Well, I think I'm going to end it on this conversation. I was going to go to 9 o'clock, but we got in some good conversations about how bees overwinter. So I think anybody else? Yeah, Keith. I I'm on. I think when I was checking the dates, it was February 17th, but we had like a 58-degree day. I'll be going into all my hives and checking them, hopefully in all my yards. And I won't be pulling frames, but I'll be checking them for food. I'll be checking where the cluster is and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, thanks for being on the chat and have a good week. Stay warm, stay safe from the weather, and hopefully Mother Nature's a little bit nicer to us sooner than later. So, goodbye, everybody. Good night, and have a great week. And there we go.